Raw Solar Blessing has order blocking power!
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about some polls that I came across on the Tekken subreddit. We haven't did one of these videos in quite a while, so I do have about 7 or 8 polls here to talk about, but I do think all of these are important and I do want to quickly touch on all of these. The first one, this one was created around the time Street Fighter 6 put out their trailer. It says, with Street Fighter 6 being freshly revealed today, do you think we'll have Tekken 8's reveal trailer this year as well? If so, explain which event or specific date we will get Tekken 8 ? 303 votes on this. 180 says yes, Tekken 8 will be revealed this year. 123 says no. One reason why I want to talk about this is because I know there's a lot of people who say Tekken 8 should wait until 2024. There was one comment the other day where they were saying Bandai Namco is having such great success with Elden Ring, so they should delay Tekken 8 so Elden Ring can fully thrive, so it can have its full lifespan, right? Maybe they can do DLC and maybe, you know, I don't know. But the comparison that I drew to that, it's like if Bandai Namco was to delay Tekken 8 because of Elden Ring's success, that would be like Take-Two delaying GTA 6 because 2K basketball is popular. It's like those two games, yes, there may be some cross-pollination there, but those two games is specifically different genres, right? I can understand if it was like Soul Calibur in Tekken, or if it was like Dragon Ball Z Fighters in Tekken, but you literally have a RPG, MOBA, open world, you know, Dark Souls type of game, and then you have a fighting game. You know, it's two different genres, completely different genres. Something else that I was thinking about, considering the success of Elden Ring, I think it would be really cool if we got a Elden Ring DLC in Tekken. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it could be outfits or if it can be a character, like a certain boss or something. I don't know. It just was an idea that I was thinking about, because when you have these big properties that are both successful, you would want to do some sort of cross collaboration with them. I think Xbox, on occasion, they would do, you know, some collaborations with Gears of War, with Halo. Sometimes these companies, they just, when both of your biggest games are successful, massively successful, you want to flex that, you know, and I think that would be really cool to see. Now, to answer the question on this poll, what day I think Tekken 8 will be revealed, of course, E3, this is something I repeat all the time on this channel. But the first reason why is because, and I think this is a big reason that a lot of people may not know or may not remember, but Tekken 7, all those years ago, was revealed at E3 as well. I believe it was 2016. So Tekken 7 was revealed at E3. Tekken 7 was massively successful. You would want to just copy that same, you know, layout, reveal it at E3, do season passes, you know, just copy that same formula since it was so successful. Also, the second thing, I talked about it before, I'm not going to show the tweet I did in the past videos, but Michael Murray has said before the only time they announce new video games is at E3. So it's still up in the air whether or not E3 will happen. I think it definitely will. They'll do it online like they did in 2020 and I believe 2021. It won't be in person, but online is just as I said it before. Them having E3 online is only makes it more likely that Tekken 8 will be announced there, because if they had it in person, that would mean Harada and Michael Murray would have to show up there in person. But the fact that it's online, they can pre-record something, they can just join a like conference call, like it's so much easier to show up digitally, you know, over the internet in a video call than it is to be there in person, is my point. You know, but let's move on to the next poll. This one is really cool and I thought I would mention it. It says, so how many characters did you guys learn during Tekken 7's life cycle? 1,337 votes on this. I think this is the biggest poll out of the 8 or so I have to talk about. And 250 says 1 and done. 777 said 2 to 5. 171 says 6 to 10 and over 10. I think this could be taken two ways. One, how many characters did you learn? That could mean you played a new DLC character like Leroy Smith, Fakram, Armor King. You played new DLC characters, and then maybe after like a week or two, you're like, I'm over it. I'm not playing them. But if it means like how many characters did you, really play, like main, I think the number would be a lot smaller. Because here's the thing, I learned how to play Leroy Smith, Zafina, Fakamram, Lita, Kunimitsu, Dragunov. There was so many characters that I learned how to play, but the amount of characters that I actually stuck with, I would say, of course, Yoshimitsu, Dragunov. Leroy Smith is just such an easy character, so I still remember how to play him. Kunimitsu, just the same. She's a very easy character. And I think a lot of the reason why I still know how to use Kunimitsu too is because Yoshimitsu, even though they're really different now, there still is a lot of similarities with them, so you can go in with the same game plan, right? So I would put myself in 2 to 5. I'm interested to see how many characters you guys learned. I know just from playing some of you guys online, I know a lot of you guys can play many different characters and switch it up all the time. It's really kind of like inspiring to see someone switch between so many different characters and be great with a lot of them. That's why I think it's really cool to watch Nee play. You never know what he's going to pick. He always has some sort of trick up his sleeve, and he has an answer for everything. I think that's really cool about Tekken. If you put the time in, you can really master so many different characters. The next poll that I want to talk about, would you say the games become more fun or more frustrating the better you get? Feel free to write a comment. 213 votes, 133 says more fun, 80 says more frustrating. Now, I would agree with both of these. When you grow and progress, it's definitely fun to see that you're getting better, to look back and think, wow, a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever, I didn't know anything, but now I'm learning, now I'm progressing, my rank is getting higher, I'm getting promotions. It's fun to see that growth, but at the same time, you will hit a second brick wall, and I think that can be taken two ways. One, you could say, okay, like, I need to learn a little bit more, I need to practice a little bit more. Now I'm in that, that top bracket. Or you could be like, I'm frustrated, I was doing so well, and now I'm stuck in this rank. Tekken Tag Tournament 2, I never made it out of green ranks. So in Tekken 7, I was still in that green ranks at the start. But then I started progressing. I slowly moved to orange, slowly moved to yellow. And then there was one moment in there where I like skyrocketed out of orange, through reds, and then purple. And then at the end of purple, like that mighty ruler, divine ruler, that is where I hit the second brick wall. And it took me a very, very long time to progress past that and reach the blue ranks. I remember the first time I reached blue ranks like 2 years ago. That took so much learning and so much focus, because the difference between before purple and after purple back then, I know now the ranks is bloated, it's a disaster, but back then everyone in the purple ranks knows their character. They know the best combos, they know the best setups, they know the best Oki. That is not the hurdle. In those ranks, it's how much you know about the other character. Do you know this random grab? Do you know this unblockable? Do you know this frame trap, this setup, this Oki, this grab? That is what prevents you from moving beyond purple ranks. And I think that is what stops a lot of people. Matchup knowledge, lab to matchup, But let's move on to the next one. These next two polls are very important. It says, which classic Tekken stage do you want to see in the future? Moonlight Wilderness, of course, that is the winner. Now, my two picks on this would be Carnival and Moonlight Wilderness. Here's two things. I think Moonlight Wilderness and Jun Kazama, all they have to do is put both of those things in Tekken 8 and the community is going to lose their mind. If they put those two things in Tekken 8, it's like, how can Tekken 8 fail at that point? They would literally have to do something crazy for Tekken 8 to fail before launch. You talk about promotion. The next poll, Airport, is another one. another one that people want to see return. Those three, put those in there and it's an easy win. I think they have a lot of unique stages, but even though we talk a lot about what stages we want to return, I'm very interested to see what new stages they can come up with. I've been playing a lot of Tekken Tag Tournament 2 lately, and some of those stages had so much more detail and design and so much more depth to them. I do want to see that level of detail return in Tekken 8. Not only some classic stages, really I would only be happy with Moonlight Wilderness and the mall stage, the airport stage. But even when it comes to the mall and airport, I feel like they can, since Tekken 3 and 4 and all those games, the world has progressed so much and there's so many crazy malls all over the world, and I feel like they could choose a new mall, a better mall, and make it so much more cooler. The airport, same thing. There's so many cool and unique airports. Some of them have malls attached. They have big amusement parks and all kind of crazy stuff. You could really get crazy with an airport and a mall, and I would like to see them do that. The last two polls that I'm going to talk about: should Tekken have a combo maker mode? Now this one was kind of confusing for me. 234 votes, 161 says yes, 73 says no. I don't think this is good for a competitive game. In a competitive game, you need to know exactly what your opponent is capable of and they need to know exactly what you're capable of. Once you start getting into that, customize your build and customize your character. And when I say customize your character, I don't mean like clothes or like outfit. I mean like selecting what type of variations, like what Mortal Kombat does, selecting what type of moves, like, oh, I want to build my own combo. I want to start off with this weird low launch, unseeable. Like, I just think that really can hurt the competitive integrity, and that's why I always be against combat, because whether you put him in player match or it's just like something else, I don't know. I think having a random move set, regardless of how it's done, definitely will hurt the competitive integrity. And seeing that they're going more and more into esports, that is not something that you would want to do and you should do. If you're going more into this competitive esports and you're trying to make that really like the standout thing about the game, then you gotta do that in design and in development. You can't have this sort of loot box type of gameplay where, oh yeah, I'm going up against Brian Fury, but this Brian Fury combo is different from the last Brian Fury combos that I made. It can't be like that. It have to be concise, and it have to be, because look, Mortal Kombat did that exact thing. You were able to build your own variations, and in tournaments, a lot of those variations you couldn't even use. So it's like, I think they should just stick with what they have now. Don't get all crazy with it, because that's only going to confuse people. It's only going to hurt the competitive integrity. The last poll that I have, this one is not from the Tekken subreddit. This is from r/polls. The last video game character you've played has to defend you against 1,000 zombies. Are you surviving? Comment your character if you like. 11,000 votes on this. If I was to say Smite, like, lately I've been playing Poseidon, Ra, like those characters are gods. So this would be a walk in the park for a god. But for Tekken, I was thinking about it. Would Yoshimitsu be able to defeat 1,000 zombies? That's a lot. Yes, he can take out like 100, 200 easily. But it's at that point, when you're talking about 1,000, it turns into a matter of endurance, a matter of how long can they fight for. And this is why in Tekken 8, I want the story to be a little bit more fleshed out, because in cutscenes, whether it's a ending, whether it's a opening, whatever, the characters are more, like, we get to see more of what the character can actually do. Like when you watch Yoshimitsu in his endings, he's like flying around, he's like bouncing off the walls, teleporting, spinning. A big thing that I want to see in Tekken 8 is a lot of the characters animated and just fighting in cutscenes. I think that would be really cool to see, like Armor King versus Marduk in a cutscene, Yoshimitsu versus Kunimitsu, kind of how we got in the trailer. That was really, really cool, and you got to see a lot more personality in that, right? But that's it. That's everything that I really want to talk about. That's like 7 or 8 polls. Just jumping between many different topics. I haven't did a video like this in a while, so I thought it would be cool to do now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.